Hello and welcome to Oddspedia Bundesliga Matchday 22. We expected a great reaction from Bayern Munich, and indeed, they smash Hoffenheim once again, Ronan, and we have Dortmund waiting for this tie with Atalanta in the Champions League and the fight for the fourth spot with Stuttgart and Leipzig. So plenty of things going on in Germany.
There is, there's definitely plenty going on. It seems a bit more exciting maybe than it did a couple of weeks ago before Bayern Munich started dropping points. So hopefully that continues and we get more excitement, but also keep getting these tips right because another 𝐿𝐴 last week, so that's always good.
Indeed, really good. Hamburg winning away. I forgot the other one, but it was another 𝐿𝐴 in the back, plus international 𝐿𝐴 as well. Your safe bet was correct, together with your colleagues. So let's go on, guys. Remember, leave your comments. Let's go on with the show. By the way, we are doing this video on Wednesday, and we have a cup game, Bayern Munich, RB Leipzig. Someone was asking if we could see an upset in that game, Ronan. I guess it's difficult when we check the head-to-head between these two teams this season. Just Bayern destroyed RB Leipzig in both games.
Yeah, well, I usually suppose this is Bayern Munich competition, but in the last few years, the RB Leipzig have kind of won back-to-back years. So the RB Leipzig, this might be one of their main focuses. Like we say regularly on the show, that they don't necessarily have European football, or they don't have European football this season. So they have a squad that maybe isn't as worn out as some of the other squads. So this could be another chance for them. It could be a golden opportunity for them. So if I was to go for a tip for it, both teams to score and the goal market seems like a good way to go for tonight's cup game.
Okay, extra tip for the cup game. Let's focus in the Bundesliga. First game is on Friday, Mainz. Dortmund, as I said, facing Atalanta in a very interesting game in the Champions League the following week, and in a good run in the Bundesliga. 5 consecutive wins. Another win in the last minute. In this case was Guirassy scoring the winner against Wolfsburg, and also in a good run, Mainz. 3 consecutive wins. They are out of the bottom 3. They looked dead some weeks ago, and it's only 1 defeat in the last 8 Bundesliga games.
Yeah, they've really turned the corner. And I think that's what we were seeing in the first half of the season. We were kind of expecting them to put the results with the performances, because the performances were a bit better than the results they were getting, and they seem to be doing that now. And as we know from history, that Mainz have been a thorn in Borussia Dortmund's side for the past few years, especially that season where they looked like Borussia Dortmund were going to win the league. They drew with Mainz on the last of the season and lost the title. So yeah, there could be nightmares and kind of flashbacks for Borussia Dortmund when every time they play Mainz. It hasn't gone great for them in recent years, but this Borussia Dortmund team at home have been excellent, unbeaten at home in the Bundesliga, 8 wins and 2 draws in the 10 games they played so far this season. They did win both games last season. They hadn't won the previous 4 before them, like I said, so it was their bogey team for a while, but Borussia Dortmund won both games last season, 3-1 and 2-0. But Mainz have been looking good this season, like you said. They've 3 wins in a row. They've scored in every game this year. Nadim Amiri keeps scoring penalties for them. He has now scored 7 penalties in the Bundesliga, I should say. That's the second most of any player in the big 5 leagues. Only Kylian Mbappe has more for Real Madrid in La Liga this season. So yeah, Julian Ryerson keeps putting in great crosses for Borussia Dortmund. He has 6 assists from crosses, the joint most in the Bundesliga. Michael Olise has also 6. So this looks like one where the most common result looks like it could be a decent enough one to follow here, because both teams score yes happens in the most common result, 1-1. So I'm going for both teams to score yes at 168. But I think Borussia Dortmund have just enough about them to edge Mainz in this and keep up their good recent form against Mainz in last season and then again this season. So if we follow that correct score 2-1, I like to look at both teams score yes, I'm Borussia Dortmund to win, but correct score 2-1 is at 850, which ties into my main bet for this one, which is total goals over 3, which is 193. And I know some of the commenters are saying Borussia Dortmund are hard to trust, but they are at home, so they're much easier to trust when they are at home.
Indeed, and even in the Bundesliga, they are in a good run. Still, I think a little bit shaky, and we might see it in the Champions League against Atalanta. Is going to be harder. Dortmund to win and both teams to score. Hello, Jimmy from North Carolina. Next game, Saturday is Leverkusen. St. Pauli. Leverkusen drew with Gladbach and fell into the 6th spot in the Bundesliga. Another team playing Champions League, in this case in Greece against Olympiacos, and St. Pauli beat Stuttgart. Big surprise, they are still alive, but they are still in relegation as well.
Yeah, they're not the greatest team, and not the greatest team on the road. They're 17th in the away table, so just 9 goals scored in the 11 away games that St. Pauli have played this season. And when they went away to Bayer Leverkusen in the cup last week, it was a heavy defeat. So Bayer Leverkusen won 3-0 in that one. I think that we had commenters as well last week ask about the cup games. We said that would be more looking at Asian handicap bet, and yeah, it was, because Bayer Leverkusen were much the better team, and I think they will be again here because it's essentially the same fixture. So Smart Bet is going for 5 stars for this one. A Leverkusen win at 151. I don't think you can disagree too much with that one, because yeah, Leverkusen are unbeaten in 5 games, so they are kind of a team that have decent enough form in 2026. I know, like you said, they are kind of losing some sort of distance between them and the top 4, but I think they can kind of keep the pressure on and maybe finish in the top 4 if they can finish the season strongly. This could be a match to look at to finish the season strongly. So I think Leverkusen can win big against St. Pauli. So I'm going for Leverkusen Asian handicap minus 1.25, and that's 208. It's better odds than the Smart Bet is giving us.
Oh, news. Tottenham have sacked Thomas Frank, and the Cherby also sacked in Maxell. So, of course, in Oddspedia, we touch every single competition or Big 5 in Europe. So, news all over in England and in France with the managers. Leverkusen know how to sack a manager very early on the season, as they did with Ten Hag, but still the team shaky. They can make it still to the top 4, 3 points away from RB Leipzig and Stuttgart. Next one, talking about sacking managers, Eintracht Frankfurt, Borussia Mönchengladbach. Frankfurt 8th and falling in the table. Both are coming actually from really bad results. Frankfurt is 7 winless games, drew with Union Berlin, and Gladbach now 3 points away from relegation, 5 winless games.
Yeah, that's why you're such a professional. Look at that segue, going from the sack manager in the comments to the sack manager in the match. Oh yeah, that this is a master class in broadcasting. If you
exactly. And not my mother tongue. So
yeah, just a different level. And I see James in the comments saying, "We'll always remember where I was when Thomas Frank was sacked by Tottenham." So yeah, we'll always remember that. We were all here together, having a great time talking about
9/11, right? 9/11, and then Thomas Frank getting sacked. These kind of things that you will always remember.
Yeah, momentous events in your life. Yeah. I remember my first kiss, and then when Thomas Frank was sacked. Yeah. But speaking of Frank, we're talking about Frankfurt. They drew 1-1 in Albert Riera's first game. But did he have a chance to impose his style on the team? I don't necessarily think so, because he talked a lot in the kind of pre-match press conference about the way Union Berlin would set up and how they were so direct, and then things didn't go as easily as they expected. But I think their defence looked a small bit better, so it ended a streak of 4 defeats in a row. So I suppose that was a positive coming from it. And Gladbach, they've had 2 draws in a row, like the draw you mentioned there a minute ago. They haven't won since the first game of 2026. It was a 6-4 the last time these two sides met in September, so hoping for more of the same. Again, last 3 meetings between them were all both teams to score yes. It was a 1-1 in Mönchengladbach in February last season, and the most common result here is a 1-1. So again, if I'm going for a correct score, I'm looking at 1-1 in this one, 750, because that's the way Riera has started life at Frankfurt, with a 1-1. So why not another 1-1? A draw is a bit safer. Maybe it'll be 0-0 or 2-0. And 0-0 seems unlikely. It's the Bundesliga. But yeah, 384. But the smart bet again I'm liking the look of AI for these for early games on Saturday. Anyway, it's going for double chance 𝐿2, so it's giving Borussia Mönchengladbach double chance. I like that one at 191 because I think Frankfurt, it's going to take him a while to get used to what Riera wants to do with them. I think he has great ideas about the attacking play they can do, but it will leave them exposed at the back, which is going to be a common problem and has been a common problem for Frankfurt. So there's no reason to think that Gladbach couldn't snatch a point in this one.
Well, 7 wins, 7 draws, 7 defeats. Frankfurt this season 7-7-7. We like betting, so it's a good number to break in this match day. Next game is Hamburg Union Berlin. You put it in your ACA and it was correct. Hamburg winning away against Heidenheim after the draws with Bayern and St. Pauli. No defeats in the last 4 and strong when they are playing at home. Union Berlin winless in 6, so the bookies place Hamburg as favorites here, 2.6.
Yeah, they do, and I think the recent form has been good. Like you said, that was their first away win of the season, so it had to come at some stage, and thankfully it came last week. And Hamburg, they've been kind of keeping clean sheets recently, which is something Union Berlin, I suppose, are more known for. But yeah, both teams score no has happened in 3 of their last 4 games. 3 draws and a win in the last 4 games as well, and 2 of those games were 0-0 draws. The Bundesliga, like I said, kind of hinted at earlier, it doesn't have a lot of 0-0 draws. It's only had 9 so far this season. That's the lowest of the big 5 leagues, Serie A. No surprise, the most draws have been in Italy. The most 0-0 draws have been in Italy. 16 0-0 draws in Italy so far this season. So 9 in the Bundesliga, and Hamburg have 2 of them, like I said, in the past few weeks, and the other one. The other one they've had this season was this match earlier in the season in September. So Hamburg have had 33% of all the 0-0s in the Bundesliga this season. It was a 0-0 in September. So I'm going to go for both teams to score no in this one. Union Berlin never really excites us too much. Hamburg, when they do pick up results, it is quite narrow. It is quite low scoring. Both teams score no at 197. And a similar bet to that then is going to be total goals under 2.25. At 2. So if Hamburg did come out and win 2-0, then both of them would be correct.
Smart bet, very risky actually. Halftime result, Union Berlin. So away team to win the first half, 3.6. Much more exciting should be Hoffenheim Freiburg. Hoffenheim's run came to an end against Bayern, once again smashed by the Bavarian team. 6 wins, 1 draw. Before that, still in Champions League spots, and Freiburg had the cup in the middle of the week. They qualified in penalties against Hertha and beat Werder Bremen before that. What do you expect here? Hoffenheim really favorite because also they are getting really good results when they are playing at home. 7 wins, 3 defeats this season at home.
Yeah, they had a fantastic season, and it's great to see. Freiburg, I think they'll be happy to get into the last 4 of the cup. Although I had a look, I was watching it, and the man who scored the goal for them to kind of send them to penalties, and the man who helped them win those penalties, Suzuki, he looked like he may have got injured in the celebration. So I'm going to keep an eye on that one today, see any news of that. But yeah, Freiburg will be without Johan Manzambi because he is banned for 3 games because he was sent off. And Hoffenheim, as you may remember that Bayern Munich match, they had their own player sent off, Kevin Akpoguma. He is suspended as well for this one. He's a big centre back for them, important for them. But yeah, when he got sent off against Bayern Munich, it kind of made it that there was no chance Hoffenheim were going to do anything in that game. I don't think they had wonderful chances before, because no one ever does against, well, most teams don't against Bayern Munich, but once that happened, it was kind of game over, and you just expected Bayern to run riot, and they did. But so I think you have to look at the games before that, and the way Hoffenheim were playing. Like you said, 7 games unbeaten. Freiburg, they haven't been playing themselves 2 kind of super high entertaining, high octane matches. They lost, or they beat Bremen 1-0 after losing 1-0 to Stuttgart the previous week. A Hoffenheim win, like I said, does look worthwhile at 180. I like that one. Akabara is screaming draw in the comments, but yeah, we'll leave that one to Tom. But yeah, if you look at the player who is scoring or assisting for Hoffenheim, it's that man again, Andrej Kramaric, mentioned before. He has 3 goals in his last 2 games. He is an assist in the game before it. So him to score or assist. So Kramaric to score or assist is 180. I like that one. They're probably better odds on him just to score, but playing it a bit safer, and we're going to score or assist.
All right, let's see what we see in this Hoffenheim draw for 𝐿𝐾𝐿𝐴 in this one. Next game, Werder Bremen, Bayern Munich. Of course, let's look at Bayern to win only 1.37. Great reaction against Hoffenheim. I could hear companies praising Luis Diaz, in this case, after the game. Remember, they were coming from a draw with Hamburg and the defeat against Augsburg. Werder Bremen now fell into the bottom three. Danger risk for them after losing to Freiburg. No wins in the last 11. I was scrolling down and down and down and down in Oddspedia to find the last win was the 7th of November, Ronan.
Oh, it's a long time, and we were speaking about the possible next head coach last week on the show. It was Bo Henriksen and Bo Svensson seemed to be the kind of key candidates, and then they did an abrupt change from that. And Daniel Thioune is the new head coach, and he has never managed in the Bundesliga before, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes for him. He's previously a Fortuna Dusseldorf. He was sacked there, and he was sacked at Hamburg before that. So yeah, this is a guy, maybe it could be a very steep learning curve, because you don't really want one of your first couple of games to be against Bayern Munich. And if you look at the recent history between Werder Bremen and Bayern Munich, it's the last 15 games, Bayern Munich have won 13 of them and drawn one more. So Werder have only won one of the last 15 meetings with Bayern Munich. So it doesn't look great for Werder Bremen heading into this one. Last season, Bayern won 5-0 in this match. They also won 3-0 at home last season. They won 4-0 at home in September. They tend to score lots of goals against Werder Bremen. So then you have to look at Bayern scoring goals, 137. We're not really looking at that. There's not a lot in it. You have to look at the Asian handicap market. You have to look at the player market. The player market has been working splendidly for us, for one particular player for Bayern Munich. But looking at another player who scored a hat-trick last week, Luis Diaz, like you said, or maybe it's hard to think that he isn't called Luis Suarez, because there's just so many Luis Suarezes in football. There was a few classic ones, and now there's a guy that keeps scoring for Sporting. So yeah, there's two historical greats of all time. So yeah, maybe there's going to be a third one. But Luis Diaz, anyway, 13 goals and 9 assists in 20 Bundesliga games this season. He has got a hat-trick last week. He keeps scoring goals. Him as an anytime goal scorer, 225. I like the look of that one. And Michael Olise, he is the man to set up the goals, because he has assists in each of his last 6 Bundesliga games. Thomas Muller had 7, so he's looking to equal that record back in 2021. So Michael Olise, again, over 0.5 assists. It worked last week, it worked the week before, it worked the week before that. Why shouldn't we keep going for it? Because the odds are still 275. So Michael Olise, 2 get an assist. Let's go again.
Well, this Luis Suarez is also Colombian, actually. Both teams to score, 𝐿𝐾𝐿𝐴 says, for this game with Bayern playing Pokal, and then at 3:30 Bundesliga. And then we have Stuttgart Cologne is the late kickoff. Stuttgart now dropped to the 5th spot, still level on points with RB Leipzig after losing to Pauli. They have Europa League the following week playing Celtic, and Cologne 4 points away now from the bottom 3. What do you expect here?
Yeah, I expect goals maybe in this one, because Stuttgart won this one 2-1 in September. Roma are the only team that Stuttgart haven't scored against in 2026. They lost that one 2-0, if you remember. But yeah, Cologne, on the other hand, they have scored in every single game in 2026. So I think this will be a match with goals in it. Both teams to score yes has happened in 74% of Cologne's games this season in all competitions. So both teams to score yes is 162. I do like that one. 𝐿𝐾𝐿𝐴 is looking at both teams to score yes, I think, as well here in this one. Both teams to score yes, and Stuttgart to win has happened 27% of the time in games they've played this season. So let's increase that percentage, and we'll go for Stuttgart to win and both teams to score yes, because that's odds of 263.
Over 3.5 goals, both teams to score. So also our audience think we are gonna see goals here. Smart bet for this game is double chance, X2 for Cologne perhaps thinking that Stuttgart could be focused also in this Europa League game. And for Sunday, we have Augsburg, Heidenheim. Heidenheim now rock bottom of the table. They are 6 points away from Werder Bremen. So this is a very important game also for Augsburg, 3 points away from the bottom three. When you are facing Heidenheim, especially at home, you must win, and they are coming from from a defeat in Mainz.
Yeah, Heidenheim, no wins since December 6th. Yeah, there's 3 defeats in a row. So it's not great form for them, whereas Augsburg, they've only 1 defeat in the last 5 games. They're 2-0 to Mainz, like you said. So they've had much better recent form. So you kind of have to look to that as Augsburg to win this one. Heidenheim away, they are terrible. They're last in the away table. They do not score when they play in away matches. They've only scored 9 goals in the 10 away games they've played. Augsburg, they are much better at home. They've 9th in the home table, 14 goals scored for them in their 11 home games. So Augsburg win 192. Why not take that one? I like that one. But like I said, these are 2 teams that don't score a lot of goals. Heidenheim definitely don't score a lot of goals away. Augsburg haven't scored loads of goals at home, so it could be one that you look at a total goals market and Augsburg to win. But I just like to look at the total goals market for it anyway. It at under 2.75 total goals in this match is 196.
And the last game we have in this match day 22 is RB Leipzig. Wolfsburg. Leipzig recovered and now in Champions League spots after beating Cologne away. They bounced back after the defeat with Mainz, and Wolfsburg 3 consecutive defeats for them. And very close to the relegation, by the way. Level on points with Werder Bremen.
Yeah, things aren't going great for them, but I don't think they've been kind of diabolical at times, just like Leipzig in the wins that they've been getting this season. They haven't looked kind of thrilling, or they haven't looked like the sharp Leipzig that we've seen in years past. So this is one that I think could be a cagey kind of close affair. Klaus Fischer is out for the foreseeable future for Wolfsburg. He went off injured against Dortmund, and he is a centre-back who has played 12 games this season for Wolfsburg. But if you look at all 12 games he played, they haven't kept a clean sheet in any of them. So maybe it'll be a blessing in disguise for Wolfsburg to be missing him for a few weeks. Maybe they might start getting clean sheets, because both these teams have been super inconsistent and super inconsistent this year. 3 wins and 2 defeats already in 2026 for Leipzig. Wolfsburg's only 1 win, but 4 defeats. But if you look at last season as well, Leipzig won the 3 different times they played in 2025, but they were all just by 1 goal. And Leipzig, they haven't been great at home recently. They lost their last 2 home games, like we've been talking about earlier. They are playing in the Cup against Bayern Munich. That could be a very difficult game for them. It could be a tiring game for them. So Wolfsburg, they are 10th in the away table compared to 17th in the home one. So they're much better away from home this season. And that's why I like to look at Wolfsburg keeping it tight in this match. I'm not saying they're going to win or anything or even going to draw, but Wolfsburg Asian handicap plus 1.25 is 190. I think they can keep this one close.
Okay, this is it for our Bundesliga show. Heidenheim is not even close to be a Bundesliga team. Last year they struggled indeed, and they are going down this season. I think we can all agree it would be a miracle if they save the category. Well, remember, of course, we have our tipster competitions for you going on in Oddspedia. It's completely free to participate, and you can win up to this money, $1,000. We have the February one with surprise Ukrainian guys on top. They are always the top of our leadership board. And check out also Rivals, where you can create your own tipster competition. Ronan, safe bet?
My safe bet this week, it's not Bayern Munich win, but it's the next best thing, because it always happens. Bayern Munich over 1.5 goals is my safe bet this week.
And the ACA?
My ACA is Leverkusen Asian handicap minus 1.25 and Hoffenheim to win for a total of 374.
You are in a great run, Ronan. So let's keep going. And next week we have Champions League. So see you next week, Ronan. Thank you. Thanks everyone for watching. Bye.
Bye.